Most people think debt is simple. You borrow money, you owe money, you pay it back. End of story. But that's not how America actually works. Because there is a second kind of debt, one you never agreed to, one you never signed for, one nobody explained, one you don't even know you owe. And yet you're already paying for it every single day. If you've ever looked at your bank account and thought, where is my money going? This is the answer. If you've ever felt like life is getting more expensive, even though nothing about your income has changed, this is why. And if you've ever felt trapped financially for reasons you can't even name, you're about to see the mechanism that's been quietly draining your money in the background of your entire adult life. Before we go further, remember, this is educational storytelling, not legal or financial advice. Rules, protections, and options vary a lot by state and by situation. Always talk to a qualified professional before making decisions about your own money or debt. Let's start with something simple. Imagine this. You didn't take out any new loans this year. You didn't get a new credit card. You didn't buy a car, didn't sign for a mortgage, didn't co-sign anything for anyone. You're trying to be responsible. No new debt. But somehow, your rent is higher. Your car insurance went up. Groceries cost more. Your internet bill quietly increased by a few dollars. Your bank added a maintenance fee that didn't used to be there. You're not buying more, but you're ending every month with less. Most people just shrug and say, that's inflation, I guess, or that's just life now. But that's not the full story, because what you're really feeling is something I'm going to call silent debt. Silent debt is the debt you pay even when you've never borrowed a dollar. It doesn't show up on your credit report. It doesn't have an interest rate printed on it. There's no contract to read. There's no due date to circle on a calendar. But it's real. It takes a slice out of your paycheck every single month. It hides inside prices, fees, premiums, deposits, and policy changes. It's baked into your rent. It's baked into your bills. It's baked into your neighborhood. It's baked into your stress. Let me show you what I mean. Think about the American medical system for a second. You've probably heard the statistic that medical debt is one of the biggest reasons people go bankrupt. But here's what almost nobody talks about. Medical debt doesn't just hurt the person who got sick. It quietly raises costs for everyone else too. Here's how that works in real life. A hospital sends a patient a bill for, say, $80,000 after surgery. That bill goes unpaid because the patient doesn't have $80,000. The hospital doesn't just shrug and say, oh well. They roll that unpaid debt into higher charges next year. Insurance companies see those higher costs and raise premiums. Employers see higher premiums and raise deductibles or shift more of the cost onto workers. Every person on that plan, people who never got sick, never walked into that hospital, pays more. You might be one of those people. You go to the doctor once a year. You take care of yourself. You pay your bills. But your premiums went up $300 this year. Your deductible is higher. Your prescriptions cost more. You didn't create that debt. But your wallet is now helping pay for it. That's silent debt. Now zoom out a bit more. Your zip code has its own balance sheet. Not officially, but economically it does. 2 streets over from you, someone's late on their rent. Around the corner, someone's car got repossessed. A few blocks away, there's a cluster of insurance claims. On your side of town, average credit scores are lower. Maybe crime statistics are higher. Maybe property values haven't risen as fast as the good neighborhood 10 minutes away. Insurance companies, landlords, banks, and big corporations take all that data, mix it together, and turn it into something they call risk. And then they price that risk into everything you buy. Same car, same driving record, same age. But if you live in one zip code, your insurance is $200 a month. If you live 10 minutes away in a better area, it's $120. Same person, same car, same driving history. Different neighborhood, different price. You didn't choose what happened to your neighbors. You didn't create the statistics on your block. But you pay their price anyway. That's silent debt. It goes deeper. Think about banks. You've probably seen the phrase overdraft protection. It sounds helpful, right? Like they're protecting you. But here's what it really means. You have $3 in your account. You forget. You swipe your card for a $7 purchase. The bank could simply decline the transaction and say, insufficient funds. But that doesn't make them money. So many banks do something else instead. They quietly approve the $7 purchase, cover the missing $4, and slap you with a $35 overdraft fee. No one asked if you wanted that little $4 loan. No one read you terms and conditions in that moment. You didn't sign anything at the checkout counter. But now you owe $35 plus the $4 you went over. That $39 hole isn't a glitch. It's not an accident. It's revenue. And here's the part that makes it a trap. The people paying those fees are very rarely the reckless big spenders. They're usually the people balancing every bill, stretching every dollar, hoping nothing goes wrong. If you've ever checked your balance 3 times in a week and still gotten hit with an overdraft anyway, you know exactly how that feels. You weren't trying to borrow money. You were trying to buy groceries or gas or something basic. But the system turned it into a microloan with a triple-digit interest rate. That's silent debt, and banks made billions off it. Let's put a face to this. Imagine a woman named Lisa. She's a single mom in Ohio. She works full-time, makes just enough to pay rent, daycare, gas, and food if nothing goes wrong. She doesn't have credit cards. She's scared of debt. She's doing everything in her power to avoid it. Rent hits on the 1st. Her paycheck clears on the 2nd. On the 1st, her account is short by $20. The bank covers the difference and charges her $35. Then, before her paycheck shows up, 3 small automatic payments hit. A streaming service, a gym membership she forgot to cancel, a cloud storage fee she doesn't even use anymore. Instead of declining those little $5 and $10 charges, the bank covers them and adds 3 more $35 overdraft fees. By the time her paycheck lands, she's already down more than $100 in fees. Lisa never took out a loan. She never signed a credit agreement. She never asked anyone to lend her money. She simply mistimed a bill by 24 hours and didn't realize 3 small auto payments were lined up behind it. This is how the system quietly creates debt out of timing mistakes. That's silent debt. Now let's shift to something bigger and more abstract, but just as real. Corporate debt. When a big company takes on billions in debt, it's often celebrated. There's a press release. Some article, Company X raises $10 billion in the bond market. Investors cheer. Executives get bonuses for access to capital. Nobody asks who will actually pay that bill. Here's who. You. Because when interest rates go up, or when that company's sales drop, or when their profit margin gets squeezed, they don't usually solve the problem by cutting executive compensation or reducing shareholder payouts first. They do it by raising prices, adding junk fees, cutting staff, and shaving down quality. You see it as a service fee, a convenience charge, a new monthly platform fee, a smaller product in the same sized box, a subscription that quietly jumped from $9.99 to $12.99. Airlines add seat fees. Hotels add resort fees. Ticket companies add processing fees. None of this feels like debt, but in a way, it is. It's the cost of someone else's borrowing pushed onto you. Every time a company passes on costs to the consumer, what they're really doing is pushing their debt servicing onto millions of people who never got a vote. That's silent debt. Now let's talk about one of the nastiest versions of this, the poverty penalty. You've probably heard the saying, "It's expensive to be poor." That sounds like a catchy phrase. It's not. It's a description of how the system is structured. Take 2 people. Person A has savings, good credit, and lives in a stable neighborhood. Person B lives paycheck to paycheck, has bruised credit, and lives in a zip code companies label higher risk. Person A needs a car. They walk into a dealership, get a loan at a low interest rate, maybe 4 or 5%. Their insurance quote comes back low. Their credit card rewards them with cash back and no annual fee. Person B needs the exact same car, same model, same mileage. But they can't get a low-rate loan, so they go through a buy here, pay here place or a subprime lender at 18% interest. Their insurance quote comes back double. The dealership tax on junk fees because they know person B has fewer options. The monthly payment might be the same on paper, but the total cost over time, thousands more. Person A pays, say, $22,000 for the car over the life of the loan. Person B pays $35,000 for the same car. The numbers are different, but the story is everywhere. Lower-income families pay more for the same utilities through higher deposits and late fees. They pay more for the same banking services through overdraft, minimum balance fees, and monthly charges. They pay more in interest for the same dollar borrowed. They pay more for groceries because low-income neighborhoods have fewer options and less competition. They pay more in time, too. Waiting in lines, dealing with customer service, fixing problems the system creates for them. That extra cost? That's a penalty for not having enough money in the first place. That's silent debt. And then there's the kind nobody measures, but everyone feels, the debt of time and stress. If you're financially stable, money is mostly numbers. It's spreadsheets. It's decisions about where to invest and how much to save. If you're not, money becomes a second job. You're on hold with the insurance company for an hour because they denied a claim. You're arguing with a hospital billing department about a charge you don't understand. You're calling the bank to fight a fee. You're logging into 3 different accounts to see what's due this week. You're doing mental math at the grocery store. You're lying awake at 2 in the morning, replaying expenses in your head, calculating how many days you have until the next paycheck. None of that time is free. That's time you didn't spend with your kids, time you didn't spend resting, time you didn't spend learning a new skill or applying for a better job, or just existing without that constant knot in your stomach. That time is a cost the system never refunds you for. That's silent debt too. So what are you supposed to do with all of this? You can't single-handedly rewrite federal policy. You can't change how banks or insurers behave tomorrow. You can't undo a system built over decades. But you're not powerless either. You can't escape silent debt completely, not in this version of the economy. But you can lower the amount you pay, every unnecessary fee you stop, every unfair charge you reverse, every trap you step out of. That's money back in your pocket and stress off your nervous system. The first lever you have is awareness. Just knowing this exists changes how you see things. That standard fee on your bill, you now know it's not sacred. It's a line item that can often be challenged. That rent increase, maybe you can't stop it, but you can at least understand you're helping cover your landlord's rising interest costs, not some vague market forces. That overdraft? You know you're not a bad person. You're operating inside a system designed to profit from that moment. The second lever is friction. The system makes it extremely easy to lose money and harder to keep it. You can flip that, not perfectly, but enough to matter. You can move to a bank or credit union that doesn't charge overdraft fees, or lets you opt out of overdraft protection entirely. You can turn off automatic payments you forgot about. You can make it slightly harder for yourself to spend and slightly easier to save. Small rules like, I never buy from my phone at night, or I wait 24 hours on any non-essential purchase. You can call companies and ask for fees to be reversed. This sounds small, but it adds up more than most people realize. Banks, phone companies, utilities, they all script their agents to say no at first, and yes, if you push a little. I've been a customer for years, this fee is hurting me, can you waive it? That one sentence has saved people hundreds of dollars a year. You can negotiate your bills, not just once a year. If your internet bill went from 60 to 80, that 20 isn't random. It's there because they know most people won't call. When you do call, when you say, I saw a better offer from another provider, can you do something? They almost always have a cheaper plan or a promotion they can move you to. Is that fair? No. It's a game. But once you understand it's a game, you can play back. The third lever is information. You can pull your credit report and make sure you're not paying for someone else's mistake, someone else's fraud, someone else's error. You can spot accounts you don't recognize, addresses you never lived at, debts that aren't yours. You can dispute them. It takes time, yes, the very time you're already short on, but every error you remove lowers the interest you'll pay in the future. You can learn what your state actually allows when it comes to collections, lawsuits, wage garnishment, and time limits on old debts. Not to game the system, but to stop it from gaming you. Collectors rely heavily on people not understanding their rights. Silent debt loves confusion. Clarity cuts into its profit. The fourth lever is margin, no matter how small. If you've been living with nothing left over each month, the idea of saving anything might feel insulting. But here's the hard truth the system will never say out loud. Even $10 set aside consistently changes your trajectory over time. Not because $10 will make you rich, but because it starts to break the poverty penalty. That tiny cushion prevents one overdraft. That one avoided overdraft keeps $35 in your pocket. That 35 covers a bill on time. That on-time bill avoids a late fee and a credit hit. That better credit score saves you thousands down the line on a car loan or insurance. The amount is less important than the direction. Every dollar of margin you create is a dollar the system doesn't get to quietly extract from you later. It's a dollar that belongs to you, not to silent debt. And there's a fifth lever, too. One people don't talk about enough. Talking to other people. Silent debt survives on isolation and shame. As long as you think you're the only one constantly behind, constantly stressed, constantly confused by bills and fees, you blame yourself. You think, I must just be bad with money. Everyone else seems fine. But when you start comparing notes with other people, friends, coworkers, family, you realize something. Everyone has a version of the same story. My rent went up $200 and my landlord blamed insurance costs. My bank charged me 4 overdraft fees in one day. My hospital bill had 3 charges for the same procedure. My car insurance is double what my friend pays and we drive the same car. Those aren't separate failures. That's a pattern. And if enough people see the pattern, the story changes from I'm failing in this system to this system is built in a way that's hurting us. That shift matters. It doesn't mean the problems disappear overnight, but it moves the shame off of you and onto the design. And people who aren't ashamed ask better questions. They negotiate harder. They organize more. They're more willing to say, no, this isn't okay, instead of quietly absorbing every new cost. So let's bring this down to you, right now. Where do you feel silent debt the most? Is it the medical bill you're scared to open? The rent increase that swallowed what little breathing room you had? The feeling that your bank is not on your side? The car insurance quote that made no sense? The constant add-on fees on everything you try to buy? Think about your last 3 money frustrations. Seriously. The last 3 times you muttered under your breath at a bill or a fee or a price jump. How many of those were traditional debt, loans you chose to take, and how many were silent debt? Someone else's cost quietly shifted onto you. If you're like most people, it's the second category that's eating you alive. You are not crazy for feeling like the math doesn't add up. You are not lazy. You are not uniquely bad with money. You are living inside an economy that has figured out how to charge you for things you never agreed to and never clearly saw. But now you see it. Now you know that when your premium jumps, part of that is unpaid claims being spread around. When your bank fee hits, part of that is a business model built on timing your hardship. When a corporation raises prices, part of that is interest on their own debt being passed along to you. You are not imagining the weight. You are carrying more than just your own choices. You are carrying everyone else's mistakes, Everyone else's risk, everyone else's bill. That's silent debt. And you may not be able to destroy it, but you can start cutting its share of your life. One reversed fee, one negotiated bill, one avoided trap, one tiny bit of margin at a time. So tell me in the comments, which part of this hit you the hardest? Was it medical costs, zip code pricing, bank fees, corporate inflation, the cost of being poor, or the endless hours you've spent on hold fighting to get a little bit of your own money back? Someone watching this right now feels like they're alone in this, like they're failing, like everyone else is coasting and they're the only one sinking. Your story might be the thing that makes them realize, oh, it's not just me, the system is stacked. If this opened your eyes, even a little, hit subscribe, because in the next video, we're going deeper into one specific part of silent debt: how small monthly subscriptions and buy now, pay later plans quietly chain you to payments you don't even remember agreeing to. Silent debt is real. You've been paying it for years. But the moment you see it, you can finally start doing the one thing the system doesn't want you to do: fight back.